Okay, finite math students. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to go through your quiz for chapters 1 and 2. I'm not going to go through the test, okay? I'm not going to, give you every answer to every assignment, right? I'm going to do, I'll help you with your quiz, but you're on your own with the test. Okay, so first of all, let me start Mathematica. We're probably not going to need Mathematica that much for the quiz, but maybe a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to change some of the settings here. So format, edit style sheet, input, output. Okay, format, show fonts. Gonna make that 18. And let's see, the output, make that a little bigger. And change the color a little bit. Okay. So these preferences are really up to you. You can personalize Mathematica, any way that you want to, right? Okay, close this window. And like I said, I don't think we're going to need a lot of Mathematica for the quiz, but, for a couple of problems, I think we're going to need it. So let's see. First question. And remember, your numbers are going to be a little different, right? Your questions will be very similar to my questions, but the numbers are going to be different. So keep that in mind. Find the slope and the y-intercept of the graph of the equation. Y is equal to negative x over 9 plus 2 over 7. So the slope is the number in front of the independent variable. So it's negative 1 over 9. The y-intercept is 2 over 7. And let's see if Pearson agrees with me. Your input is correct, score 100%. So let's see. Right over here. Yay! Okay, that was easy. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Find the slope and x-intercept of the graph of the equation. So the slope is 5, right? Now this time it wants the x-intercept, okay? Not the y-intercept. The y-intercept is 20. What is the x-intercept? So to find the x-intercept, y has to be set equal to 0, okay? So we can do that. It's pretty easy. We could use Mathematica, but we could do it by hand as well. So 0 is equal to 5x plus 20, right? So I know from looking at this equation, if I have 5 times negative 4 plus 20, that is going to give me 0, right? Why? Because 5 times negative 4 is negative 20, and negative 20 plus 20 gives me 0. Okay, so that answer should be negative 4. Okay, your input is correct, score 100%. Yay! Okay. Let's see. Let's move on to the next question. The figure shown to the right contains a scatter plot of 10 data points for trees where the diameter of a tree at breast height, or DBH, is given in inches, and the height is given in feet. The regression model is shown below, where x is the diameter at breast height, which is given in inches, or DBH, in inches, and y is the height in feet. Interpret the slope of the model. The rate of change of height with respect to DBH, well, that's going to be the number in front of x. Okay, so that's going to have to be the rate of change of height with respect to DBH. Let me see. It's going to be 0.97 feet per inches. Okay, feet per inches. So the answer is going to be right here, 0.97, feet per inches. Feet per inches. It's the, in case you're wondering, why isn't it inches per feet? Because the unit is determined by the value, the unit of the y-axis divided by the unit of the x-axis. Okay, so that's how we figure out the slope. It's the change of y divided by the change of x, or the change in y divided by the change in x. So it's going to be feet per inches, not inches per feet. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So that's going to be 0.97 feet per inches. So what is the effect of a 1-inch increase in DBH? That's going to be 0.97. A 1-inch increase in DBH produces a 0.97 foot increase in height. Estimate the height of a tree with a DBH of 15 inches. So here, all we have to do, let me move this over. Okay. So the equation is 0.97 times x plus 2.77, and x, I'm going to substitute 15 for x. Okay, round to the nearest foot as possible. So that's going to be 17 feet. Estimate the DBH of a tree that is 25 feet tall. Let's use Mathematica. So 25 is equal to, notice I'm using the double equal sign, okay? 0.97 times x plus 2.77, and I'm looking for x. It's about 22.91. Round to the nearest inch as possible, so that's about 23 inches. Okay. Check answer. Your input is correct. Yay, we got that right. Okay, fabulous. Let's move on. Excuse me. Use point-by-point plotting to sketch the graph of the equation. X is equal to y squared minus 7. So first of all, if we're plotting a parabola, this is a second-degree equation. So the graph needs, you need 3 points in order to plot this graph. But also notice we have x is equal to y squared minus 7, which means that x is going to be the axis of symmetry, not y. It's going to be x. So what do I mean by the axis of symmetry? So this is what I'm talking about. Let me move this over a little bit. So if you have like y is equal to x squared, you're going to have a graph that looks like this, right? Okay, but if you have x is equal to y squared, then your graph is going to look like this. So this is x and this is y. So if u of x is equal to y squared, then the axis of symmetry is going to be the x-axis, okay? That's something I hope you guys remember from your previous algebra class, but if you forgot, well, this is a reminder. So how are we going to do this problem, okay? So let's see. How are we going to do the problem? Okay. So first of all, let's look at some points. What happens when, well, let me see. What happens when y is equal to 0? If y is equal to 0, right, we have the point, if y is equal to 0, we have x is equal to 0. Well, actually, no, sorry. I'm thinking, okay, let's do this in a more methodical way. Hold on a second. Okay, so we have x is equal to y squared, that's not a very good looking 2, y squared minus 7. Okay. X, y. So what happens if y is equal to 0? If y is equal to 0, okay, if y is equal to 0, we have 0 squared minus 7, so then we have negative 7. What happens if y is equal to, let's say, 1? Let's pick easy numbers, okay? If y is equal to 1, we have 1 squared minus 7, and 1 minus 7 is negative 6. Okay, and then what happens if y is equal to a negative 1? Well, negative 1 squared is still 1, and 1 minus 7 is negative 6. Okay, these are going to be my 3 points. Okay. So click on the graph. Click on this symbol right here. Oh, let's see. Negative x is negative 7, 0. And then negative 6, 1. And that should be okay. And here we have negative 6, 1 and negative 6, negative 1. Okay, let's check the answer. Your input is correct. Score 100%. Yay, we got that right. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Use point-by-point plotting to sketch the graph of the equation. Y is equal to 3x cubed. This one I think is even easier than the last one. So the axis of symmetry is the y-axis. So we're going to click on the graph. Okay. Click on the icon that represents the cubic polynomial. So if x is 0, y is 0. Okay. Now here we're going to need, actually you need 4 points to graph a cubic polynomial. So what happens when x is 1? Well, 1 cubed is 1, and 3 times 1 is 3. So let me see, that's going to go right, okay, I believe that's 3. And if x is negative 1, negative 1 to the power 3 is negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. So then we're going to have, let me see here. And what happens if x is 2? If x is 2, 2 cubed is 8, and 8 times 3 is 24. So then we would have 24. So these are the 4 points. Check answer. Your input is correct. Terrific. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Find and simplify the expression if f of x is equal to x squared minus 12. What is f of 2x? Okay. So we could use Mathematica to help, or not. So this is a pretty easy problem. F of x is equal to x squared minus 12. And we have f of 2x. F of 2x. So that's going to be equal to 2x squared minus 12. So that's going to be 4x squared minus 12. Okay, so that's going to be 4 times x squared minus 12. Okay, and that's correct. Okay, so that is the correct answer. Now remember, guys, your problems will be very similar to mine, but watch out. The numbers could be a little bit different. You know, maybe your function for this problem will be, you know, x squared minus 9 or 3x squared minus 7. Be careful. Don't just copy my answers. You need to think about the problem. You really do, okay? Find and simplify the expression if f of x is equal to x squared minus 2. What is f of 7 plus f of h? So this time, guys, I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to use Mathematica to help, okay? So f of x is equal to x squared minus 2. What is f of 7 plus f of h? And we could make it look more traditional. Traditional form. H squared plus 45. Okay? H squared plus 45. And that is correct. Okay? Yeah, that we checked it. Okay. And very similar, guys. So find and simplify the expression if f of x is equal to x squared minus 4. Okay, so that should be easy. Right? So clear f of x is equal to x squared minus 4. So f of 7 plus h. Let's expand it. Traditional form. So that's going to be h squared plus 14h plus 45. So again, I'm using Mathematica to make things go a little bit faster. Okay. Your input is correct, right? Okay. And number 9, solve the equation for x. Now here, guys, I really recommend that you use Mathematica, okay? So here's what we're going to do. Solve 3 times x plus 7 to the power of 8 is equal to x plus 5 to the power of 8. Now, if I don't do anything here, so that, okay, I want to show you something. All right, so I'm getting a long list of answers, right? Including answers that involve the imaginary number I, which is the square root of -1. But I think your textbook expects only real valued answers. So I'm going to include this as an option, reals. So my answers are -3, -1, because I don't have to see all of the other answers, because we're talking about an 8th degree equation, so I'm expecting 8 answers. So in this case, 2 answers are real, 6 answers are going to be, complex. And yeah, I don't have to see that. So if I remove this option, reals, I'm going to get in trouble, right? Okay, so that's a little bit much. That's a little bit much. So to simplify things, I'm going to include the option reals. Okay, so x can be -3 or x can be -1, right? And let's see if that's correct. Excuse me. Okay, that is correct. Okay, that is correct. So let's see what we have here. Solve the given equation for x. So what I notice here, this is an exponential equation. You have -7x times e to the power -7x plus x squared times e to the power -7. Let me say that again. I got myself tongue-tied. You have -7x times e to the power -7x plus x squared times e to the power -7x is equal to 0. So what we really have, we can factor out the e to the -7x, and we're going to end up with -7x plus x squared times e to the -7x is equal to 0. Okay? So I realize that e to the -7x is never going to be 0. Excuse me. So e to the power -7x is never going to be equal to 0. Okay, this may get very close to 0, but it will never really be 0. So this part of the expression is going to be 0. This part of the expression. So what I end up with is x squared minus 7x is equal to 0. I can factor out the x, so x times x minus 7 is equal to 0, and that's really easy. So your answers then are going to be 0 and 7. X could be 0 or x could be 7. Okay, so x could be 0 or x could be 7. Your input is correct. There we go. Yay. Okay, so this is what I really expect you to do throughout this course, guys. Sometimes you'll have problems that you can solve by hand. At other times, you're going to have problems that are more complicated, and you're going to need some assistance from Mathematica in order to solve those problems. And then for some problems, you'll do a little bit of both. For some problems, maybe you'll set up the problem by hand and you'll finish it using Mathematica. Mathematica is a wonderful tool. I don't think you should use it to solve every single problem that you have, but you should use it to solve problems that are especially difficult or tricky, or problems that involve a lot of information, a lot of data. Okay, so let's submit our quiz. And it looks like it's 100. Okay, terrific. Okay, so bear in mind, guys, the next the next chapter that we're going to do in this class is chapter 3. Chapter 3 is a very intense chapter. It's got some very hard problems in it, and you're going to have a lot of homework for chapter 3. Chapter 3 will constitute its own unit. So unit 1 was a combination of chapters 1 and 2. Unit 2 for this class will include only chapter 3 because it's a pretty difficult chapter. And for that chapter, you will need to use a lot of Mathematica. Okay? I will post some tutorial videos that should help you figure out how to use Mathematica for solving the problems in chapter 3. But of course, if you have questions, you can email me. And I do recommend, please, read your textbook. You do need to read the textbook. That's obviously very important. There's no substitute for that. Okay? All right, guys, I think that's enough. And let me pause the video. 1 second. Why? Okay, hold on 1 second. Why is this not? Huh, very weird. Okay. The joys of modern technology, right? Okay, guys, I think that's going to be it. So that's going to be it for today, and hopefully this video was helpful to you. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.